I had an earplug for it, but the earplug broke.
Boy, is that funny.
Boy, is this funny.
I am doing this video during the day, so you know I'm not a vampire, because I don't know if you noticed the background in the last video, but it was not the middle of the night, but I do sometimes get up really, really early. I get up early and I do the things sometimes as early as 2. But with little children all around, actually that's a really great time to do things because there's nobody asking you for anything else. We're getting a lot of soap made right now, which is the goal. Our goal right now is to be making 1,000 bars before our first farmers market, which is on June 10th in Amory, Wisconsin. And we have another farmers market in Barron very shortly after on the 15th, and they will be rolling throughout the summer. It'll be Saturdays in Amory and Thursdays in Barron. So we need lots of soap, and we are making that happen because, as I mentioned before, soap requires 4 to 6 weeks to cure. So for various reasons, hardness being one of them, and increases in lather, the quality just increases over time. There's a myth that it takes that long for soap to saponify, but it doesn't actually. The saponification process is usually done within 24 hours or so. The soap just isn't really at its peak at that time, and we want to bring you peak products. So we're starting now, and we're perfecting our process. We actually did have our first really colossally failed batch to yesterday. I've never burned goat's milk before when I added the lye to it, but yesterday was a first. I was following someone else's procedure, and I will not do that again. All's well that ends well. I did manage to get my first lye burn. You definitely cannot probably see that at all because it's really tiny, and tiny is good. It's very minor. I really don't recommend major because even this little tiny lye burn really was unpleasant. But it does feel sort of like a milestone, I guess, a soaping milestone. It should get me entry into Fight Club, if nothing else, right? A really great friend from church put together some large-scale slab molds for us, which is what you need if you're making really big batches of soap like we'll need for sales. They're beautiful, big wooden molds, and they ought to make 60-ish, probably 60 bars each. So we ought to achieve our goal of 1,000 bars by June 10th. Hurdles to jump over, and doing all of this with our family, which is not a bad thing. That's one reason why we're doing it. If I went off and took a job all day, I would be away from them and they wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. And here they are able to watch everything. So many of you know that we homeschool our 5 kids. And up until recently, we were using fairly standard curriculum, and that's good. It helps us to kind of keep on track with things. I was a public school teacher ever so briefly right out of grad school. So I'm aware of what kids in public school are doing. However, we are taking a season of rest from school because this is a heck of an education in itself. So we're bringing our kids on board with this. They're getting to watch us work, and they're getting to work with us. And that's part of my inspiration for doing this. Speaking of my little family, I thought you might like to meet them. So here we are. Here's a little introduction. In their own words, they are very excited to be the employees of Dayspring Farm Soap Company.
And my name is Nina. And what I like about this soap business is that I can help my family, and I will write down the ingredients that my mommy that my parents put into the soap. Daddy says that it's good for your hands, and I agree, because before, when we were buying soap from stores, my hands got cracked, but now my hands have healed and they're not getting cracked anymore. I spend most of my time doing things, and I like to make gadgets. and it's going to be super strong. It can pick up soap and move it. Start yet?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I like about this soap is that sometimes I can look out at the soap recipes that I really like, and I really like raising goats, chickens, and farm animals because they give us the milk to be able to get the goat milk soap, and the chickens lay the eggs to make the egg yolk soap recipes. And I'm 6 years old.
And your name is?
And
What's your job on the farm?
my job is to help Daddy and you.
What do you do to help Daddy and me?
I help you and Dad to do work in the garage. This one, I got a good climbing skill.
You lost his shoe.
Look at my skill.
Look at your skill.
Whoop.
Okay, I did not do any of the actual holes in this.
Yes, one way he was stepping on them and trying to break them.
No, do not try to break this off. Do not try to play with it. And one.
Daddy, Michael, Denny usually will help us to do the chores, and he will usually make some soap batches of his own sometimes. What I really like about this soap company, about the soap business, is that we can all pitch in and help whenever we notice that people need help. Daddy's job in the soap company is to help us when he knows it's the right time, and to help us figure out when it's a good time for us to help and pitch in. Hi, we're the Dennees. We have a 3-bar cross on our door and goats on our porch. We are Orthodox Christians and first-generation homesteaders, and we are the owners of Dayspring Farm Soap Company, making quality handmade goat milk soap. Come along with us as we do the homestead life with Jesus, goats, and soap.